stunning. Like, it's so aromatic, so deep, it's so complex.
Merlot, it needs more love. What I brought, it's a Hickinbotham, the Revivalist Merlot 2020, and it's made in Clarendon, which is part of McLaren, South Australia.
Also known for Merlot is Nagano. 2020 Sinano Winery, Kikiogahara Merlot.
I think Merlot lives up to its name about being a smooth operator. Today, we're going to find out, where is the love for Merlot? I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent, and we're here on an unapologetically unfiltered, unprofessional wine journey. We're saying here, Jace.
Our saying is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Merlot is the topic of today, and I really wanted to explore why the hell isn't it as popular as what I thought it would be?
Where is the love? That's what the Black Eyed Peas say, right?
That's right. It's a great song, and I think they were singing it about Merlot. I'm really interested because Merlot to me is one of the most common grape varieties when I think about wine, but I actually haven't had much of it. Have you had much Merlot in your life?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Often as blends, not as a single varietal.
Yeah. And I'm like, why is that the case? Interestingly, like researching for this episode online, normally if I'm researching a wine, there's so many recommendations, so many pages and lists about this is the wine that you should have. Like if I'm looking at a Chardonnay, if I'm looking at a Shiraz, you get heaps of results on there. Merlot, not that many. So it just feels like there's no love for Merlot in Australia.
Are you here to bring the love?
I want us to kind of test this out and see, bring that love to it. But I also wanted to explain 5 reasons why.
Why to hate Merlot?
5 reasons why I think Merlot is not as popular in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Love that number 5. All right. So the first one I find out is that they're just not good on their own. They're better as a team.
Yes.
Right?
Like Trent and Jason.
Like Trent and Jason, and like Hamish and Andy.
Yes.
Is what I think about.
Like Ren and Stimpy. Who else is there?
Ren and Stimpy. Who watches that? Hamish and Andy.
Pink in the brain? No.
But Hamish and Andy, they're bloody funny, right?
Definitely.
You listen to them on the radio, you watch them on TV. Makes me laugh all the time.
Yeah. But by themselves?
By themselves. Andy in particular, not as funny. Not as funny. And that might just be me. And that's not, I love Andy. Andy's doing his thing. But for some reason, on their own, they're not given the same impact and power.
Yeah.
It's the same as Merlot. Merlot is often used as a blend. They're usually bringing the best of both worlds, combining a Merlot with something else, not usually on their own. So that's probably one reason why it's not a big hit in Australia. That's number 1. Number 2, poor site selection. So the king of Merlot in Australia is known as Jim Irvine from Barossa.
Mm-hmm.
And what he says is the reason it's not so popular is because of poor site selection. Wineries think that Merlot is like a Shiraz or a Grenache and it'll just grow anywhere and it'll be great. But what he's saying is you got to choose a site that's appropriate because Merlot hates wet feet, apparently, and it needs well-drained soil. So maybe we need some better site selection in Australia. Number 3, mistaken identity. And I want to show you a photo. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
I have.
You've seen that, right? It's a video of Will Ferrell and Chad Smith, the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they look exactly the same. I'm going to put this photo up online. They're on the Jimmy Fallon show and they're doing a drum off, but bloody hell, they look identical, right? The problem is one's a comedian / celebrity TV movie star. The other one's a drummer, also a celebrity.
Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Red Hot Chili Peppers, but very different art. So you're going to get
about you and Jackie Chan as well, don't they?
No, but Jackie Chan, I don't have hair. Jackie Chan still has hair. That's the difference.
Jet Li.
Mistaken identity. That's what happened with Merlot.
You're Joe Coy. Is it?
I'm Joe Coy. Yeah, could be, because he's got Filipino base. Yeah. But early plantings of Merlot were actually incorrect. They thought it was Merlot. It was actually Cabernet Franc, right? Mistaken identity. You're probably getting it wrong. If you're getting it wrong, you might be getting a drummer or a comedian.
Got it. Cool.
Right? That's number 3. Number 4 is probably the most talked about thing that I've heard about Merlot, which is this bloody movie Sideways.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the Sideways effect. You've watched this movie, right? You like the movie?
I like the movie.
Yeah. It's a bit it's a bit long for me, to be honest. A bit long and dry.
You only watch short form, is that right?
I just want a bit more pace to it. But it's a 2004 movie. If anyone hasn't watched it, it's a comedy drama road trip. It's about an author / wine enthusiast, and he's taken his mate, who's an actor, probably not doing that well, on, I think it's a bucks trip. They're going to wine regions and trying wine in California. They're trying wine in the Santa Ynez Valley. And a lot of attention has been brought to the fact that this movie has dropped sales of Merlot across the world and increased sales of Pinot Noir. And I watched this bloody 2-hour movie to work out why. Look,
you didn't get it?
Well, firstly, I want to get my 2 hours back.
Yeah.
It was all right. I could relate to a couple of things, but it was a very long movie. But it was one line. So 5 seconds effectively out of this 2 hours movie. And I just want to say it here. So they say, if anyone drinks Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any effing Merlot. And that's it.
You sure know how to deliver a line.
You say? Let's see that dramatic pause at the end. That bloody 5 seconds is what changed sales. That's the impact of Hollywood. And so they do say that that's had an impact on sales. It's probably more, not necessarily the decrease in sales. There was a decrease in sales in Merlot, but it was probably more increase in Pinot because this wine enthusiast loved the Pinot.
They haven't seen the wind-up effect yet. Our 5 seconds.
Yeah, so when we talk about this, let's see the boost that this has on all sales.
Or the drop.
Or the drop. 5, we've hit the end, right? So Poor Clones is the other one. And we were talking about this at the Real Review tasting. We were having Cellars, and he's the one that explained it to me why Merlot isn't that big in Australia. It's because of poor clones. So apparently our first plantings in Australia came from UC Davis, California, not France. So the quality of the clones, which is known as a D3V14.
Getting very technical now.
Right?
Yeah.
That's about as technical as it's going to get.
I prefer the 13 and the 14 though.
Yeah, the good numbers, both equally good.
Keep going.
Apparently that clone wasn't the best clone that it could be.
Yeah.
And so that's a reason why.
The big reason that was called the Attack of the Clones, apparently.
That's from, where's that from? I feel like that's a Star Wars phrase, is it? Is it? Attack of the Clones?
It is.
So there are 5 reasons why I think Merlot isn't that popular in Australia, but we want to taste those wines and see if that's actually the case because things have changed since then.
Yeah.
What have you been thinking about this week?
What have I been thinking about? So I've been thinking about, I'm going to talk about some other things. I'm going to go to what I've been thinking about. It's like, firstly, like, what does fashion say about you?
Yeah.
The other one was like, what does the food you eat kind of say about you?
Yeah. Okay.
And then got me thinking about, what does the wine you drink say about you?
Yeah. Pinot versus Merlot.
I know. What type of wine do you drink?
I'm drinking a lot of Shardy and I'm into Pinot. So what does that say?
Okay. So what does that say? So I asked authoritative source.
What?
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The AI is getting better and better these days. I'll start with Merlot first. So Merlot, smooth and approachable. You're likely friendly and easygoing. You enjoy the simple pleasures in life, value, comfort, and reliability. For Pinot, you're elegant and nuanced and might have a sophisticated side and appreciate subtle, complex experiences. You're often seen as thoughtful and introspective.
Nice.
That kind of sounds like you. Cab Sauv, bold and robust. You're likely confident, assertive. You enjoy taking charge and aren't afraid to express your opinions. Chardonnay, versatile and balanced. And you might be adaptable, enjoy a variety of activities. You're often seen as dependable and practical. Again, that sounds like you, man. Jeez.
Wow.
Rosé, fresh and lively. You're likely fun-loving and social and enjoy a good time and being a positive energy for gatherings. And lastly, sparkling wines like champagne, bubbly and celebratory. You might be the life of the party. You love to celebrate life's moment and spread joy around you. Does that resonate with you, Jace?
It does resonate. I'm curious, what is it? Which wine are you drinking then?
I'm not going to talk about that, but what I am going to talk about is today's episode around Merlot. And basically, I kind of carried on the same thread.
Okay.
Around, so if Merlot were a celebrity, who would it be? And it answered back to me, George Clooney. And the reasons for George Clooney is that, like, George Clooney's Merlot is smooth, charming, and universally liked. Very George Clooney-like. It has sophistication, elegance, that makes it irresistible to many. And lastly, it's approachable, yet has a certain depth that reveals itself over time, much like Clooney's charm, which is only deepened with age.
Yeah, nice.
So that's Merlot. When you think Merlot, think George Clooney. I reckon that will just up the sales by 50% already.
They could be. Wind up influence on sales.
Just like Nespresso.
What? Because of George Clooney. Got it. It took a while to get there. I reckon Merlot's more like Ryan Reynolds. I reckon approachable yet complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Clooney is a bit sad. Oh, sorry, George.
Yeah.
I was going to say saggy, but
He's complex, sophisticated.
He's sophisticated. A bit more elegant is what I thought.
He's got charm, elegance. Yeah, he's got all that. And when you think about the other big celebrity, Jason, he's got
Donovan. Yeah.
Jason. Pinot Noir Chardonnay, elegant, nuanced, thoughtful, introspective, dependable and practical.
Yeah.
Tick, 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 tick.
Yes, that's why we love our Pinot. So answer the question, which one are you?
I'm a blend.
Of course. And also, I was about to drink from my spittoon, then my wine glass, so watch out for that. Interesting thoughts of the week. Let's have a chat about Merlot.
Yeah, so what about Merlot?
I already spoke about Merlot. I talked about the 5 reasons why Merlot isn't popular.
Yeah.
I want to talk about 5 reasons why Merlot is a unique red wine. Count them. I love the number 5. It's a good thing.
Is that the highest you can count?
It's the after we go 5, I think the audience just ticks over. It's just not interested. But it is interesting that there isn't much love for Merlot from what I've seen for some reason, but it's such a unique grape. So let's talk about these fast 5 facts. 1, it's actually the second most planted grape in the world.
Oh my God.
Behind the Cab Sav.
Really?
Always behind the Cab Sav. In Australia, it's 5th most planted. 2, Australian winemakers call it Cabernet without the pain because of Cabernet's astringency. So it's usually plumper, fruitier, softer than a Cab.
Okay. Yeah.
3, the reason why it's smoother is actually because of its chemical structure. So it's got thinner skins and it has less seeds than a Cab Sav. And so when you're going through the extraction process, that means there's less tannins, less bitterness coming through. And also the tannin molecules of a Merlot is actually different shaped and smaller. So smooth operator, it completely makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
George Clooney or Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, yes.
4, some of the regions in Australia that actually make good Merlot are Margaret River, Coonawarra, and McLaren Vale. And McLaren Vale is what we're going to give a crack today. Then lastly, number 5, I feel like, who's the Count on Sesame Street, the councillor?
The Count.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Number 5, flavor profile. So on the nose, in cool climates, it's red fruits. Warm climate, obviously, it's black fruits, fruit cake. It's tastes of cherry, plum, chocolate, vanilla, bit of bay leaf. It's generally high in alcohol, medium acidity, but the important thing is those damn tannins. They're smooth. Smooth
operator.
Oh, read my mind. There we go. Oh. So that's a bit of an intro in Merlot. We want to try some Merlot today. And so we're going to start off with the wine that you brought in.
Yeah, we're going to travel the world of Merlot today. So a place that's up and coming, also known for Merlot, is Nagano or Nagano.
Which one is it? Is it Nagano or Nagano? Which one? I call it.
Let me think Japanese.
Nagano.
Good. Okay. It's a 2020 Sinano winery, Kikiogahara Merlot. Okay, so recently I was traveling through Japan, as many Australians have been. I was driving through from Takayama to Nagano, towering cliff faces, very European Alp-like off the side of there, you get through this Nagano country and to this area called the Kikyo-Gahara region, which is famous for Merlot. You drive through and there's like these wineries. It's not the wineries that you expect. It's like these kind of small houses or small shops they kind of enter. And you try and taste. And the one that we came across is meant to be one of the top producers around Merlot in the area is called Sinano. So this is a barrel-aged Merlot. You said high alcohol. There's a low in alcohol, 12% alcohol, potentially because it's a bit more of a cooler area. Just to recap, continental climate, warm days, cool nights, so retains that kind of freshness in the wine. The soil is volcanic ash and clay, high altitude, 700, 800 meters. And the characteristics of this one you should be picking up around good sense of fruit, acidity and tannins, ripe red and black fruit, spice, coffee, cocoa, and can age quite well. What are you thinking, Jace?
I think Merlot lives up to its name about being a smooth operator.
Yeah.
I don't get that strong tannin pull that you'd get with a Cab Sav or anything like that. Smooth operator is the way to go. It's got a beautiful scent around it, quite fragrant, like you and I were discussing. It's got this sweetness. I kind of feel like it's like a lolly, but it's not an artificial lolly. Is there such a thing? I don't know. But it's got a sweetness about it, which is really enjoyable. And then the bright fruits stand out. You can taste a bit of the oak treatment as well.
Yeah, I agree. Like the thing about both these Merlots is like the aromats from it and the aromatics from it just kind of like just comes out and jumps out of the glass. You know, both very different, but both very intoxicating in their own ways. And this one, you know, I picked up kind of baked cherry pie, maybe that sweetness, a hint of soy, but also that kind of treacle molasses, which is that kind of sweetness that kind of comes off the back of it. But also this kind of sense of kind of iodine as well. That minerality kind of comes off the nose as well. I'm loving this one. I'm loving this Nagano Merlot.
Merlot, it needs more love, don't you think? You got to have a bit more of this. Like,
where is the love? Where is the love? After
a cab of Shiraz, you kind of feel like, oh, my face has had enough of an attack, but it's quite good.
Yeah, beautiful
good stuff.
Corkscrews.
Ooh, I would give that a 7 out of 10. Nothing I'm disliking about that. Well-made wine.
7 out of 10 for me. Solid wine. Love the aromats off it. Brightness, acidity, freshness, juiciness, good complexity. 7 out of 10.
Nagano or Nagano? Which one is it?
Nagano.
Just say it quick. It's the way to do it.
What did you bring?
Good stuff. All right. So what I brought is sponsored by MS Cellars. So MS Cellars, go check out their website. They're Sydney's premier fine wine cellar, mscellars.com.au. It's a Hickinbotham, the Revivalist Merlot 2020, and it's made in Clarendon, which is part of McLaren, South Australia.
Why'd you go for this one?
Now, the reason I brought for this one, if you think about the name Hickinbotham, when did we first hear that name?
Yangara,
right?
Yeah.
We went on that trip. It's the first time we heard it. We were trying a Grenache, and it was a Hickinbotham Grenache.
Yeah.
So I was curious, what's the linkage between the two? It's the vineyard. So Hickinbotham Vineyard is actually a well-renowned vineyard in Clarendon, which is on the northern edge of McLaren Vale. The vines were planted there in 1971, and the grapes are sold to the likes of Penfolds, Clarendon Hills, and actually the grapes have been part of, or may still be part of, the Penfolds Grange. So it's got quite a bit of caliber there. Also, what was interesting about this wine is who are the winemakers involved. So Chriscarpenter is the winemaker. He's from the US. He splits his time between McLaren Vale and California making wines. But he works with Peter Fraser. Do you know Peter?
Yangara winemaker.
Right. The winemaker and general manager at Yangara, who we've loved their wines. We had their Grenache, we had the Shiraz, all quite good. So it just had a great story about this and great history around where these grapes were coming from. And so you've had a bit of the Merlot. What do you think?
Oh, it's stunning. Like the fruit concentration is so centered, focused. the acidities, they're kind of well balanced against the fruit. Again, the smell of it's intoxicating. The things that I kind of wrote down before is like this kind of vanilla cream on it, but the kind of macerated strawberries with this kind of desserts. It's almost like this kind of rich strawberry creams with like whipped thickened ice cream, like thickened cream type of dessert. But it's so aromatic, so deep, it's so complex.
Concentrated fruits?
This kind of
absolutely.
concentrate, when you macerate strawberries and you add a bit of sugar to it, and it has a kind of deepness in terms of that kind of sweetness and that kind of aromas of strawberry.
Are you missing the tannin structure? Are you like, with the Cab Sav or Shiraz, you want to feel that kind of hit in the face? I'm not missing that. It's very easy to drink and experience, but also complex.
Yeah. George Clooney, man, all the way.
You're not pushing that. Or Ryan Reynolds. I thought everything that you said, I think the difference for me was in the scent between the two. And it's got this kind of menthol kind of smell to it, a bit of greeniness to it. But overall, such complex and fruit-forward kind of wine. It's delicious.
Yeah, they're both fascinating, intoxicating in their own ways.
Yeah.
Like, I would quite happily kind of down this one, buy this one, any day of the week. Like, I'm surprised why Merlot doesn't get the love.
Agree. That's what's surprising through this entire tasting. And we hadn't tasted these wines before. Like we said, we haven't had much Merlot in our lives, but it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Black, yep.
Yeah, even without the tannins, the length on both of them just carry for so long.
Yep. Yeah.
It carries for so long with so much flavor. It's good.
Do you think someone that's new to the wine world would enjoy this level of complexity and taste of wine without the tannins more than any of the others? What do you think?
Do you think someone coming into the whole film world would enjoy George Clooney? The answer is yes.
He's too old.
Yes.
Just watch Ryan Reynolds.
Yes. And I say yes, because it's not big. It's not imposing. He doesn't have those big tannins. It's just easy to it's eye candy, just like George Clooney, as I say.
Smooth operator is absolutely the right term. Corkscrews, what do you think?
8 out of 10.
Agree. I think that's a well-made wine, quite complex.
Yeah, well-made wine as well, not the well-made mine.
Wine and mine joined together. I think that's really good. So that was an interesting taste into the world of Merlot. We need to do more tastings of Merlot. Love to hear your recommendations below on Australian Merlot to try. Put it in the comments. Hope that's helped you all out in terms of wanting to have that experience. As we like to say here, drink more, try more, learn more. Thanks all.